Imagine this: a bustling city street, people hurrying about their day. Suddenly, someone collapses right in front of your eyes. Who stops? Who walks by? This isn't just a test of our daily routines. It's a window into the human psyche. Altruism is when we act with selfless concern for the well-being of others, without any expectation of reward or benefit. Across cultures and histories, humans have shown incredible acts of kindness, but it makes us wonder, are we naturally inclined to be this way? Is kindness woven into our very fabric, or is altruism something we learn from society, our upbringing? Or perhaps it's something more complex. Are we born kind, or do we learn to be that way? Let's take a journey back in time. Have you ever wondered how and why altruistic behaviors might have evolved? Imagine our ancient ancestors, living in the harsh and unpredictable environments of prehistoric times. In such a world, sticking together and helping each other wasn't just nice, it was necessary for survival. One key theory that explains this is called kin selection. It suggests that we are more likely to help our relatives because doing so passes on genes we share. It's like investing in the family tree to ensure our genetic blueprint marches forward through time. Another compelling idea is reciprocal altruism. This theory is all about give and take. Basically, if I help you today, you might help me tomorrow. Over time, this creates a network of mutual support, reinforcing trust and cooperation within a community. These evolutionary strategies suggest that altruism did not just arise by chance. Rather, it had clear benefits, enhancing survival, fostering community bonds, and even increasing reproductive success. Looked at this way, altruism starts to look less like a noble, mysterious trait and more like a practical, deeply ingrained part of human survival. Psychologists have been curious about what really drives us to act altruistically. Are there certain triggers? What goes on in our brains? First up, the famous Good Samaritan study. This experiment tested whether people would stop to help a stranger in distress. Interestingly, it found that the urgency of a person's schedule greatly influenced their decision to help. Those who weren't in a hurry were significantly more likely to stop and offer assistance. Moving deeper into the brain itself, recent neurological studies have illuminated the parts of our brain that light up during altruistic acts. These studies use technologies like fMRI to show that areas linked with pleasure and reward become active when we perform kind acts. This suggests that our brains are actually wired to feel good when we help others. These studies highlight something profound. While our environment and immediate circumstances can influence our actions, there's also a strong biological foundation for altruism. Our brains are not just making us act, they're making us feel good about acting. With a mix of external pressures and internal rewards, human kindness is a complex but beautifully orchestrated part of who we are. Imagine a chilly morning by a fast-flowing river. Suddenly someone cries for help, struggling in the water. Without a second thought, a bystander dives in. This isn't a trained rescuer, just an ordinary person responding to another's peril. This act of bravery, risking one's own safety for a stranger, showcases the profound impulse to help that exists within us. But altruism isn't only about individual heroics. It also shines brightly in community responses to adversity. Consider the overwhelming acts of kindness following natural disasters. Entire communities band together to rebuild homes, provide food, and support the emotional recovery of those affected. These examples help us understand that altruism isn't just a learned behavior or a cold calculation of reciprocity. It's a fundamental part of the human experience. It connects us, defines part of what it means to be human, and enriches our lives in profound ways. How do different societies encourage or inhibit our natural tendencies to help others? Cultures around the world have diverse ways of understanding and encouraging altruism. Some cultures place a high value on community and collective well-being, which can enhance altruistic behaviors. Others may emphasize individual success, which might make altruistic acts less common. Much of how we act as adults is rooted in our upbringing. From a young age, we are taught what is valued in our society. If we grow up seeing kindness and cooperation rewarded, we are likely to adopt these behaviors ourselves. Conversely, if self-reliance and competitiveness are emphasized, our instinct to help others might be somewhat muted. This cultural conditioning affects not just individual choices, but can shape entire communities. For example, in societies where interdependence is key to survival, such as in many indigenous communities, you'll often find a strong tradition of mutual aid and collective responsibility. It's a reminder that while the capacity for kindness is universal, the ways we express it can be deeply influenced by our cultural context. But how we can nurture this trait in ourselves and in our communities. Empathy, our ability to understand and share the feelings of another, is at the heart of altruism. But how exactly does empathy drive us to act in altruistic ways? Empathy isn't just about feeling for someone. It's about putting those feelings into action. Research shows that people who are more empathetic are often more inclined to engage in altruistic acts. This is because empathy allows us to feel what another person is experiencing, compelling us to help alleviate their distress. Several studies have linked empathy with moral decision-making. For instance, when participants in experiments are shown images or told stories that evoke empathetic feelings, they are more likely to make decisions that favor helping others, even at a cost to themselves. This connection between empathy and altruism isn't just incidental. It's fundamental to how we as humans operate. Our brains are wired to respond to the emotions of others, triggering neural pathways that motivate altruistic behavior. From evolutionary theories that trace altruism back to our ancient ancestors, to psychological studies highlighting how our brains are wired for kindness, and the compelling stories of everyday heroes and communities, it's clear that altruism is a profound element of human nature. What kind of person are you? How often do you find yourself moved to help others? And in what ways can you cultivate kindness in your own life? Perhaps altruism is what makes us uniquely human. It's a blend of innate tendencies and learned behaviors, a complex interplay that not only defines our personal morality, but also shapes our collective existence. In a world that often highlights division, altruism reminds us of our shared humanity and capacity for profound kindness. Remember, every act of kindness, no matter how small, doesn't just help someone else. It enriches our own lives and contributes to a larger understanding of what it means to be human.